Am I the a-hole for not wanting to move my wedding dates because my sister is pregnant? So I'm in a bit of a weird situation. My fiance and I aren't the most traditional and wanted to have our wedding as more of a family vacation with the bonus of a wedding. My parents have a beautiful lakefront house that we decided to have our wedding at. When we were initially planning our wedding and figuring out dates, I wanted to have it on June 26th. The 26th was important to us because that's the day my fiance and I first met, but when speaking it over to my family, my sister said no because she already had a vacation on that date. I was sad, but it wasn't the end of the world, so we decided on June 4th to June 9th. Everything was working out perfectly. I let both of our families know to put our wedding down for those dates and started wedding planning. It was all perfect until last night. I got a FaceTime from my dad who showed me the ultrasound and I was super excited. All of the congratulations, jumping around because I'm going to be an auntie. I'm so excited for them and for my future niece or nephew. But it all came crashing down when I asked my sister when she is due and she said, May 1st, so we're going to have to talk about your wedding. I assumed she just meant that she wasn't going to be able to be in attendance. So I told them that it's okay, we can just FaceTime them in, and her jaw dropped. Then my mom said we can just push it back to September. I knew my emotions would get the best of me, so I said we can talk about it later. So we went back to congratulations and thinking of baby names. After the call, I can't lie, I had a bit of a breakdown. I already moved my dates once to accommodate my sister, which was all fine and I didn't push back on it. But after 7 months of planning our wedding around this date and having my fiancé family plan around it, I don't want to change it. Unfortunately, I know my family and they will push for me to move it and will disrespect my decision not to. I know traveling with a newborn baby is going to be hard, which is why I offer up FaceTiming her in, but it seems like that's offensive to them to not want my sister to be present at the wedding. I feel so insanely guilty about being upset over having to change my wedding dates because my sister is pregnant. She's bringing a beautiful new family member into our lives, but I'm still a bit heartbroken that if I don't change the wedding date that I will be seen as inconsiderate and an asshole in my family. So am I the a-hole for not wanting to punch back my wedding because my sister is pregnant? Update 1. So a lot has happened in the past few days. I called my brother the day after I made my post. He understood where I was coming from and told me that I should absolutely not change my wedding date. So since I was worried about speaking to my mom and being ganged up on, we planned on when to speak to my mom about not wanting to change my fiance's and I's wedding dates, so he could be there to talk to my mom on my behalf, and my emotions got the best of me. That didn't happen. My mom called me the next day to talk it over. I informed her that I was not going to change my wedding date and she was upset initially but surprisingly receptive to it. I was extremely happy about that until she said, "You need to talk to your sister about this because she's not going to be happy about being forced out 1 month postpartum." I explained I wasn't expecting forcing her to be in attendance. Then my mom said, "No, she's coming to your wedding. I don't care if she's a new mom." After that, I got in a bit of an argument with my mom about her forcing my sister to do something that isn't the best for her and her future family, which I ended hanging up on her. I don't take being spoken to in a harsh tone easily and will tell the other person to take a minute to reevaluate their tone and come back. During the call, she also let slip that she was also extremely disappointed in me for going to my brother for support instead of her and said I was just creating family drama for no reason. Which it is what it is. I needed a family perspective, which is why I called my brother. I ended up trying to call my sister the next day, which was declined. So I texted her and informed her that I would not be changing my wedding dates. It was a lot longer of a text, explains reasons and emotions. She replied a day later with, "You and I both know that your wedding dates aren't officially set and the only factor would be communicating the change to fiancé family. I hope the hassle is worth having my and your literal niece or nephew's presence." I explained that I have already ordered and put money down on multiple things, as well as having my fiancé's family planning/accommodating around this date for 7 months. She was not receptive in my opinion and said, "There are really no excuses. You have the power to move the date even just a little later in the summer to include me and you're choosing not to. That hurts." Which I ended up responding that I'm not choosing to not have her at my wedding, but understand she may not be able to come and will have to FaceTime in instead. As well as explain that I already moved my wedding date once to accommodate her. I asked her to try to put herself in my shoes and how she would have felt if I asked to push back her wedding. Which she replied, "I would have moved my date in a heartbeat. That's the difference between us." At that point, I decided to offer up pushing it back to the 26th of June, as some comments said, to see if she would still be going to her previously planned vacation. Which thank God I did, because she told me she couldn't do the 26th as she's still going to go on her vacation 20 days after my wedding. I'm not the most knowledgeable about babies, since I don't have one and have only known my BFF's baby. But I don't feel like there a huge difference between traveling with a 1-month-old and a 1.5-month-old. So that solidified in my mind that she doesn't care about me/my fiance or our feelings but still expects everyone to accommodate to her. At this point, as per my fiance advice, I'm putting it in the F it drawer in my head and I'm not going to stress about it anymore because everyone knows the date is set. If my family would like to show up to my wedding, that would be amazing, but if not, I'm not going to be upset. At the end of the day, this will just show me who to prioritize as family in my life, because family is not always blood. Update 2. So this update is absolutely comical to me. As I said in my previous update, I stood strong and told my family I was planning on keeping my wedding dates. Which didn't go well, but at least I had my parents' support on it. Everything was as calm and relaxed as it could be. My sister hasn't talked to me since the conversation, but I figured she was just pissed off at me and dealing with everything involving pregnancy. But getting to the hilarious part of this update, 2 days ago we got a FaceTime from my fiance's sister-in-law showing us 2 positive pregnancy tests. She's due first week of June, aka when our wedding is. My fiance and I did all of the congratulations and excitement because once again first grandchild and baby in the family. After the call, my fiance and I just looked at each other and busted out laughing. Not only is my sister having the first grandbaby on my side, but his sister-in-law is having the first grandbaby on his side, all within the month before/during our wedding. Like, what are the chances? My fiance and I have always had bad luck with planning things, aka why we're planning on a relaxed chill wedding instead of a big extravagant wedding. We had a few minutes convo and it ended up with us agreeing on, in my finances words, fuck this, let's just elope. So that's exactly what we're doing. Like I said, we aren't traditional, and honestly we were just doing all of this for our families so they could feel included and have a fun time at the lake house. But with all the babies and 9 out of the 14 people who are invited not being able to attend, my sister and Bill, her Mill and Bill, my fiance mom, dad and little sister and his brother and Sile, why even have the whole wedding thing? So we're going to the courthouse on June 26th, the date that I originally wanted but wouldn't work with my sister's scheduled vacation to go get married. We're going to keep the photographer that we have a deposit down on and just switch from wedding photos to just a couple shoot. We're also still planning on going to the lake house and just take it as a pre-honeymoon. We've already let all of our family know the whole wedding thing is cancelled. My side is relieved and his side is sad because they don't have an opportunity to celebrate us as a couple. But it just wasn't what the universe wanted, and we'll plan something in the next couple of years to get our families all together and celebrate. Maybe one of our anniversary. Honestly, I can't even be upset because it's so comical that the one major event we've been planning on doesn't work because of everyone getting pregnant and being due around or during our wedding. But at the end of the day, we're getting married and getting some adorable lil nieces or nephews. This will be my last update because no more wedding means no more drama.